So moving on then, let's talk about Phil Coutinho. He's done an interview with ESPN. It should be on the screen. Size putting on the screen now. Forgive me having to read it all out. He's basically, Paul, he said, you know, I'll be honest, I wanted to go to Barcelona. Liverpool wouldn't let me go. But, and I think the key one here is, you know, I have respect for Liverpool fans, and they have respect for me. Sorry, and the respect for me appears to be maintained. What I need to do is work hard and to always do my best to help the team. Blah, blah, blah. You know, I wanted to go. My family wanted to go. I love Liverpool. It's a great honour to be here. It's a great club. The blah, blah, blah. Is this the build? The building.
You've done that spectacularly.
This is the building bridges.
Yeah, this should be it now. I mean, it's a bit shit. You know, he's done his interview in Brazil. It's ESPN Brazil. He's spoken to in the mix zone or whatever, the tunnel at Anfield after the game. It's come out. It is what it is. He said what he said. I don't think he said anything revelatory. You know, I think no one's like, oh wow, that's fascinating that he said that. That's a really interesting thing. Good, fine, sound. He's respectful. You know, we always knew that of Phil Coutinho anyway. Now, but my issue with this is, well, it's not. I have no issue with this. I will have an issue with this if he continues to be interviewed and continues to talk about it. Because what's great about Phil Coutinho is, because he just clearly doesn't speak English, which is weird because he's been here for 5 years now. He does his talking on the pitch, and I have a big fear that Phil Coutinho lacks the mentality to come back from this on the pitch. I'm not sure he'll get back to the level that he was last season, because I don't think he's good enough to handle the pressure. What I hope is that he will prove me wrong and just go on the pitch and start playing fantastically well. What I don't want to see is I hate footballers saying I have to work hard and do my best for the team. You know, we're going to get a result. We need to get a result and blah blah blah. Joe Cole was brilliant at that. Harry Kewell was brilliant at that. David Beckham, when he started to wane his career, was brilliant at that. Just fucking shut up and go and do it on the pitch, and we don't care anymore. So I'm prepared to like draw a line under this whole thing now. He's here. He's a Liverpool player. We'll back him. We'll support him. But he needs to just start scoring some goals and getting some assists.
Yeah, for sure. Ross, Paul, but at the point of, you know, it was ESPN Brazil, it was a Spanish interview. It was obviously set up because ESPN Brazil were in Liverpool's mix zone, which, you know, how often does that happen? Very rarely, if ever. So it was obviously predetermined he was going to go and speak to them. Do you think he should have done it with a local, like a Diaco or like a Paul Joyce or something, an English interview? Because we've only found this out really via second sources. We're not all tuned into ESPN Brazil. It just so happened that
this was on Sky Sports.
Sky Sports picked it up, and that's how we figured out. It was very much secondary, third, you know, information translated from Portuguese or Brazilian. Do you think I know Paul mentioned about, you know, he doesn't speak that good English, but I don't know. I feel like when players do interviews with their native broadcasters, for lack of a better word,
it's half-hearted.
No, it's a bit of a cop-out. You know what I mean? Because it's easy, because it's like Paul interviewing me. It's me mate, I know him. You know, he's not fucking Paxman of me, is he? You know what I mean? If I, you know, get what I'm saying, if he sat down with a Paul Joyce or James Pist, he might have been a bit more, you know, pushed him a bit more. It just seems like a bit of a shithouse move.
Yeah, I think he's had no choice but to do it. Not particularly with Brazilian newspaper or whatever it is, but he's not apologised in it for me. That's an issue. Like, I'm willing to draw the line under it, but people forget that he handed in a transfer request the day before the season started. Yeah, which is all well and good.
Wanting to go to playing big games.
Yeah, wanting to go to Barcelona. I get that. Well, you know, everyone will get their head turned, but to do that the day before the season and then not come out and say apologise to the fans and then say I've got respect for the fans, well, you clearly haven't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done that.
I suppose, Paul, I always come back to Riyad Mahrez, who openly wrote a letter to Leicester fans saying, "Listen, I won the title, I loved it. I want to go somewhere else. I hope he's understand. I'll continue to play every game until I'm sold." He played every game at the beginning of the season. He made himself available. He was actively looking to leave. You know, he left his international camp to go and find a new team. For goodness sake, he's back in the team. He's fine. That's the issue. Is that I don't know. Do you think he should have apologised? Are you like Ross?
The problem is that but what he's done makes sense. It's fine. What it should have been, and it's where Liverpool are have always been a bit crap at this. We said this about the Suarez stuff after the Patrice Evra stuff. They should have basically got him in the Independent, and you know what I mean, and sat him down and go and ask him whatever you want to ask him. Get some family photos in there. Do a 2-page spread on on him and get a bit more. Now, the thing is, this is not quite the same thing, but I think there would have been more to it, if you're right, if we got... I don't necessarily think Joyce or Bascom or whatever, maybe like a Northcroft, who has been Northwest, but he's a bit broader in his coverage, just to use, you know, because if he's genuine in what he's saying and he believes in what he's saying, then it shouldn't matter if he's getting grilled a little bit, because he should have the courage of his convictions if he believes that he's fine, he's right, and he's happy to be back in. But again, this goes back to Phil Coutinho. I just think he's a bit limp like that, I think, sometimes, and I don't know whether he could. I don't know whether he has the ability, like the linguistic skills, or whether he has the charisma or the whatever to step up and be at that. Whereas, you know, you could see Luis Suarez would have had no problem with that kind of thing, because he is that.
I'm going to come back to my favourite subject on this joke, seems to be Johnny Evans. But he come out and said, listen, I said, West Brom told me, here's the score. If we get bid this much, you might let you go. We might not. And he was like, I'd like to go, but if not, fine. I'm still captain, I'll play. The way Phil went about it was, you know, he was injured, he was sick, he 2 massive Champions League qualifiers, Premier League seasons, and that's the difference, isn't it, Ross, in that? This is all well and good, but it doesn't, for me, it doesn't wash. He come on the pitch in the last 2 games, and I've been in the stands, and I've not sang for. I won't sing for him. I'll cheer, and I hope he plays well, and I hope when he's passing the ball, I'll give him, you know, go on Phil claps. But I think I'm done in the, you know, I'm not going to sing the Coutinho song. I'm not going to. I think that's where I'm at. I don't know. Are you in a similar boat? Or?
I'll support him because he's a Liverpool player and he ultimately plays on the pitch. I just think, regardless whether you're a footballer or not, there's ways of doing things in life, and I just think he went about it completely the wrong way. And I think Liverpool have. You know, you mentioned a load of newspapers there. Liverpool have got their own news outlet. They could have controlled this story themselves.
Yeah,
just
but
like,
I think this is better than him being on LFC TV. And for start, they can't do that because they're like not allowed to reference anything that's not perfect about Liverpool Football Club. So that's always going to be the limitation of the in-house media. Again, this is a bit soft. This is a bit safe. I don't know whether this has been totally cleared by Liverpool. You don't know, you know, because that's what the mix of this is. Plenty of players talking to their own country, do this all the time, you know, and. Maybe his agents have thought this is a nice, easy way for him to do it over. To be honest, I do agree with both of you largely on the song thing. Get behind him because he's on the pitch. I can't even remember. Maybe I did give a little verse to the Coutinho thing when he come on. I honestly can't remember. I might have done it. It wasn't like I'm definitely doing this. And I noticed a few people saying it died off very, very quickly.
I'm all for keeping him. I think we're right to keep him. You're right to play him. When he says, though, you know, the fans, you know, the respect, blah blah blah. I don't know.
I just think there's two things on this. I think the first one is there's a world of difference between Man City coming knocking for you as Johnny Evans and Barcelona, and I think the way Barcelona conduct themselves. And I know, look, I'm not defending Coutinho's actions because it was heinous the way he went about it. But the fact is, when Barcelona don't come and say go and do this, Barcelona come with a massive. They're all around you, and they it's like a whirlwind romance, and they make you feel like we're going to handle everything. Because look, with Barcelona, we do this. We make these transfers happen. We're going to pay whatever it takes. And of course, he'll have felt totally confident in like, okay, this is what I've got to do to make that happen. I'll go and make that happen, and I'll switch off to it. I'll deal with the consequences, like the way Mascherano did. It's like, I'll apologise to Liverpool fans when I've won a Champions League and I'm on the pitch. You know what I mean? In Champions League final in 9 or 10 months' time or whatever. That's where I think it is a slightly different set of circumstances in that regard, because he's clearly under a different level of pressure to make that a reality, and different level assurances that it was definitely going to happen as well. I don't think you go out. I don't think Mahrez is in a position, because there's no strong interest in Mahrez that way.
He was only Roma, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know. And then on the other side of this, though, in terms of the apology, I think the only thing Phil can do now to really truly win Liverpool fans over, it'll help getting a goal.
Stop putting it in the stands.
Exactly. But go back to being contributing to Liverpool being a good side again. But really, he should just go and lead Liverpool to something this season.
Suarez did it, didn't he? We all knew Suarez was going.
Exactly. He needs to go and lead us to, you know, whether it's whether it's the FA Cup. Go and be the guy who does go step up a level, go and carry us through when we need to be carried through, win football.
Alexis is doing it for Arsenal now,
exactly, and he's done it for the last couple of years.
Well, Alexis hates Arsenal, doesn't want to be there, but when he's on the pitch, you wouldn't know.
Naby Keita is another one though, because besides kicking his teammate in training. He signed for us for next season, and then he came out and said, "I still want to give me all for Leipzig," and he has done. He's scored a few goals,
kicking faces.
Kicking faces, yeah. But he's not kicking a teammate in training anymore. So
at least if you're going to kick someone, be it on the other team.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great. It's a great motto for life. Kick people. Yeah.
So like I said, just I guess on the Phil Coutinho stuff, it's tough, isn't it? Because football makes hypocrites of all of us, and I think in any other normal set of circumstances, that was a very unusual situation. That because I think. With the owners coming out and being so definitive on it, that was odd, and it left us in an unusual set of circumstances of here's a player we all want to keep, but are we sure we want to keep a player who doesn't want to? We'd have been raging if we'd sold him because it would have been an example of Liverpool selling our best players before the prime yet again, which is the big criticism of the club and the ownership. But now we've kept him. We've now got to deal with the fact that he's a guy who. He did treat Liverpool with a massive disrespect. This is a very weird situation, and I can't see any real way out from
that was the last point very clearly. The respect I have for them and the respect I have for me is maintained. I'm not sure you acted with respect, mate. If I'm honest, that doesn't wash a little bit. And when you said they respect me, I think maybe, but there's no love there anymore. You know, do you get what I'm saying? It's not. It isn't what it was. Phil was like the hero to loads of people. Now, the other day. There's grumbles in the ground. It's muted.
I think every generation has this player, though, don't they? That it's when you see behind the curtain and all of a sudden this lie that you're told about players, they love the club and they want to be there forever. It is that realisation. Look, he's a Brazilian kid. He's playing for including the Espanyol loan, we're probably his 4th club in his career so far. He's got his family. He's got his family, his immediate family with him. You know, the wife and kid or whatever, but. How long does that live for? How long does that last for? Football is impermanent, isn't it? And players have no long abiding love for football clubs anymore. And we've seen it with Torres, we saw it with Suarez, we've seen it with all kinds of players. And I think this is the thing. He's lost the ability to become a Liverpool legend by doing this. The only way for him to do that is if I say he leads Liverpool to some sort of glory this season and then goes. You know what? I'll do that again next year, and then maybe next year. But I think all of us would be a bit naive us to expect that at this point. All we can hope is that he's capable of contributing, and we move on to Mane until inevitably he spoils that love and so on and so forth.